Hello everyone. I'm Saili Palande, Datar. I dabble both in art history, Indology, and environment. And this was actually a subject which emerged from my yet another exploration on the ground in Kolhapur and Konkan regions. Something that strikes me in the area of Konkan, especially the southern Konkan area, including Ratnagiri and Sindhudurga and Kolhapur area, western parts of Kolhapur area, is there is a domination of the folk gods instead of the other prevalent pantheons in Maharashtra as a region, or even the in a prominent Hindu mainstream pantheon like Vishnu, Ram, Datta. So instead of that, we find that the villages in Konkan have their own separate pantheon, and it's a very complicated system. So I was intrigued by the way it was functioning, because in terms of material evidence we find very less things, and the timeline is also a bit sketchy. But that was one reason why I wanted to conduct this inquiry. And second was, when I was working in environment field in there, so many of the villages actually even today rely on the gods to give the verdict for decision making in their villages. And it may be not just personal or something related to God or the personal elements or something, but they were actually consulting gods for very important subjects like ecologically sensitive area. Should we allow it? Should we allow the mining to come in? And I thought it was a interesting system, and we generally discard all these things as superstition, but when it starts playing a role in day-to-day life, especially in a sovereign republic state of India, where we consider system to be the at the lowest rung of the society. So it was actually in a way complemented by, sometimes challenged by, sometimes supplemented by this particular system which I found in this area. And thanks to some of the courses I attended of Dr. Sumit Guha, I tried to conduct a sociological inquiry of many of these rituals, and by actually doing interviews and the field work in this area. I know now whatever I will be speaking in this lecture may apply to in entirety or in parts in certain areas I'm talking about. In some areas we see that systems have modified to a great extent, and there is a lot of syncretism that has set in. Some people, some villages have totally discarded this entire system. You will see some flashes of the or the remnants and relics of these systems in present day Konkan and parts of Kolhapur area. Okay, I'll just go ahead with the slides. Yes. So as I said, I thought of it as a quasi-religious social system which was prevalent in these villages. And we always talk about understanding the traditional village system, strengthening it, strengthening the community spirit in the villages. But when we look closely, we find these systems existing in different ways. So this inquiry is actually took me to the present topic of how gods are communicated with, how the deities are communicated with, and how this consultation and communication happens. And it's it, as I said, one can discard it as some superstition, but it is much more than that, because people take it extremely seriously. They act on it, and the whole cosmological and cosmogonical understanding of their universe is entirely different from what we come across. So as I said, Kaul Karhana are the striking systems of communication that are functioning in a local system which is called Gavrahati. There are many names of this system. Some people call it Bara Pasacha Devta, Bara Pasachi Rahati, Bara Pasachi Devaski, Maryada. Then based on the people involved, it is called Maharki, Ghadki, Gurauki. Sometimes it is called Gaukar system. We know that people, you might have seen in the village in Konkan, whenever the festivals are conducted, you have Mankaris or Gaukaris who are taking the lead. So these are traditionally assigned functions, and these make the entire system. Now this system, I'll just show you certain photographs. So the typical temple in Konkan looks something like this, where you have one or more gods in primary position, and then we have their subsequent gods, taras, purvas, nitkaris, and so on installed around them. This is the, as I said, forms of different lingas that we come across with, which have Shaiva association. Now they also have a mukhauta or mask, which is made up of metal, which is installed in many cases. These are the principal deity, but they are very lenient in nature and quite benevolent in nature. They generally don't punish, and they are kind of highest authority in a village. Then we have Bhutnath and Naganath, which are, as I said, like prime ministers or who execute things. And Ravanath is the one who is maximum. In most of the villages, you see that the Kaul is generally performed with Ravanath in position, because he is the in charge of many of the executionary functions. Along with that, we have goddesses like Bhagvati at places like Dhamapur or Kotkamte. Then we have many of the Bhagvati sculptures that we come across are either influenced from the early medieval sculptures of Shilaharas and Kadambas and so on. So we tend to find many old sculptures which are later assimilated into the village pantheon. Of the village folk pantheon. I don't know, we don't get many evidence of the textual records from early medieval period as to how these deities used to function in that area in early medieval period. Now we know that they have been appropriated and assimilated in the local pantheon. And based on these sculptures, we also see very intricately carved sculptures of the present deities as well. So this is also a bit old, but this is definitely medieval period, whereas this is early medieval period sculpture. These are the photographs. Here we have a Ravarnath of Atsara, and you can see he is putting almost 16 to 20 different discs made of mangoes, and then he is reciting the problem here. They even have all the diaries kept, which actually has a history of the previous consultations and so on. Similarly, here you can see this is the Gangyo, which is a village deity again, and they're putting all these cows, and they will sit till and keep on asking the question. Sometimes they even get angry at the deity if the deity is taking a lot of time. There is a huge camaraderie between the Ghadi Gurau with the deity. Sometimes they request it, sometimes they plead it. So please, de gamai, he kar gamai. They sometimes sing songs so that she or he will give the verdict sooner, and so on. So this particular verdict was about a property matter. And
hi, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. First of all, thank you so much. What I found striking was the similarity with the cult of village Grama Devata and Kula Devata that we follow in the south as well. Be it Kerala or be it Tamil Nadu, the cult of Mariamman in Tamil Nadu and the cult of Bhagavati in Kerala is very, very strong. So, and there are similar rituals, where we have the Velichapadu who talks through, the deity talks through the Velichapadu to the to the people during festivals.
Like that.
So these rituals
I just wanted to add that when we did that project, it was actually, that village took the decision basis this cow, because they had this immense desire to convert that old temple into a new RCC temple, which is like a taller temple and things like that. But somehow our people tried to tell them that this is worth conserving and things like that. So finally they took the decision by doing the cow, and that cow was given for conservation, so that temple remains.
And sharing your studies.
So
this is a really inspirational presentation to understand the extent of documentation that you have done. Perhaps I think many of the participants, many of us like who want to pursue some kind of research study, learning the methodology itself would be one of the sessions where we would like to take guidance from you. So we thank for your time, for all the knowledge that you have shared with us, and we hope that we will have continued support, and again we will have the teaching experience from you. Thank you very much,
I'm
ma'am.
very thankful to all of you. So we had great dignitaries attending it, and I'm very happy to receive the response as well. And really thank you, Dr. Sunil, for organizing this. I am generally very lazy.